Hey guys, Arm&Gun here today with the field strip, part 3 on the FAMAE SAF 200. Just prove clear really quickly here, and I guess I'll pop this optic off, keep that out of the way, and this enforced light. All right, clear the table, and so this thing is actually pretty simple. If you've seen my video disassembling the FAMAE Mini SAF, the SAF, it's actually very much identical. But there's a couple little tricks, and we'll go through that. So first things first, and then we'll finish off with a bonus gun hiding over there. It's an interesting one. If you like exotics, it would fit that category. So first things first, it's got this hinge pin design, kind of like an AR-15, but it's directly borrowed from the SIG 540 and 550 series. So you just push this in. That's going to retract these little nubs in the back. So you push, and you push from this side as well. And at this point, you can hinge open the receiver, but that's not going to help you much because the bolt is still retained. Interestingly enough, these systems the SAF makes use of, they self-retain up at the front. First time I had to, there's really a lot of videos out there on these things, so the first time I had to disassemble mine, I was trying for a few different things for a little while. So I'll put this back in, we'll pop out the front pin, and it's actually quite easy to do. And this one's going to self-retain. This one stays retained in the lower, which is fine, but this one you actually have to push again and pull right out in order to separate the upper and the lower. So there you go. Here's your lower. Take a quick look. Nothing fancy. Well, just pretty straightforward. Very reminiscent of a SIG 540 or 550. It uses a very similar, if not the same, trigger mechanism. The stock actually attaches through the back here. Just drive that out if you want to swap the stock. I showed you guys how to install this ACR stock. It's an aftermarket stock, not the factory one that comes with the gun. These are compatible with all SIG 540 pattern stocks, but the ACR is by far the best option. So set this guy aside, and now the upper. This is where all the action is. So this guy now, it's an upper and a lower handguard. You're just gonna pop this guy down a little bit because it hinges inside of the upper to lock them both together, and you just have to kind of knock it down just a little bit. It's at that point where you have to use enough force that it's going to want to really jump out versus just trying to like gingerly knock it out enough. All right, there you go. So you see those little nubs in there? They go up and then they lock in. So with that off, this piece can come off as well. It hinges around this little gas block loop, or not gas block, but a little loop. So you just push up, and then that comes up and off. And that's it. That's your assembly. And again, here's how they link together. Kind of a neat assembly. These 1913 rails can be removed. There's just the two little screws in there. And then this upper piece, you can take the rail off, and then there's a metal heat shield here as well. So there's a few components going on in there. It's a little bit heavy. There's quite a bit of steel in there, but nonetheless, it's pretty simple to deal with. There's your folding integrated front sight. This you can see here, this is where the front rail section integrates with the main rail section. And again, that rail is also removable. You got one up there, one back there, but there's no provision for factory irons or mounting anything else, so you don't see why you'd want to move this. There's your integrated rear sight. Both the front and the rear are adjustable. Really nice to get in there. And here's a look at the barrel. The barrel just threads in. 1 in 10, 7.9 inch barrel. It's a pretty neat little system. And here you can see is where this thing locks in right back there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some pressure on this back pin here, push that out. Now there's a little pin, a little cross pin there. So we'll just drive that out. It's in there super loose. Don't wanna lose that guy. And now everything will come out the back. You pop out, there's your op rod and your recoil spring. They just separate those off, wipe them down, re-oil them. And at this point, you're gonna push down on this little latch right here, push that down, and your charging handle will pop right out. Again, same system as the SIG 540 and 550. At that point, your carrier will just pop right out. So there's a a firing pin spring in here and a firing pin. You can see the firing pin back there. It's not floating. There is a spring pressure behind it. And that's it though. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Extractor. The ejector is actually built into the upper inside here. You can see that when it gets back to there, when the bolt draws back, it hits that little piece in there, and that's what ejects the spent cartridge. Here's a quick look inside your upper. It's stamped steel, both the upper and the lower. Very well made. They seem to be very tight tolerances. Nice paint job. Overall, just a really nice system. So that'll be it for the disassembly. I'll quickly throw it back together and then we'll get to that bonus gun. Alrighty guys, for my thumbnail setup, let's put this thing back together. So we will start with the carrier group. Take this, slide it in the rear of the receiver, upper receiver. Just let that go all the way home. Pull down this latch, push the charging handle all the way in. Always feels awkward to do. Then you pull it back out just to make sure that everything clicks in. So that's good to go. Now we'll take the op rod and recoil spring, put that in the back, push it in extra far, get our little retaining pin up here, stick that through the holes, and then guide it to the natural recess at the front there. So we'll just pop this in, reduce pressure, turn it over, let it fall back into place. And there we go, and it'll pop back in. We're good to go. This is now retained, all good to go. Now we'll get our handguard back on. We'll put our upper piece first. Get our angled grip portion in. Start from the bottom and then work your way forward to lock it in. Again, if it's not all the way in, it won't allow the front hinge pin to clear. Now we can put our upper and lower back together. And we can put our rear pin back in. That's just, again, you just push it and it goes all the way in. And then our front pin. And that's it, guys. That's the full thing. Again, you can do your full linear function check your safety, check your trigger, but ultimately nothing changed. That's the gun. We'll set that to the side, and if you guys want to see the shooting video or the overview to learn more about it, those are the last two videos in my channel. And here, the bonus gun, we have an AMT Hardballer. This is a 45 ACP 1911 with a 7-inch barrel, Longslide, and I got a little aftermarket compensator in there as well. Pretty neat. A lot of fun. I've shot this. I've had good luck with it. I've heard guys don't always have the best luck with these. They can be finicky, but this one seems to be done up pretty well. This, if you don't recognize it, this pistol or handgun was used in the Terminator 1 videos. It just had a huge red dot on the top. So I'll get around to doing a video series on this gun before too long as well. I'm trying to figure out, this might have been, there were 4 guns I think used in the filming, like on the set for Terminator 1, and allegedly this came out of an auction out of California, and allegedly this was one of those 4. So I'm trying to dig back. I got some friends looking into the serial number thing for me, but we're gonna see if it's actually one of those. And the extended magazine is just a Mech-Gar 10-rounder. So pretty cool stuff. Check back for more. If you guys want to see more content like this and this on a daily basis, I post to Instagram and Facebook basically daily at arm.and.gun. Links in the description below. Also guys, please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the things. They all really do help get the channel out there. Really pushing. I'm about to cross over 60,000 and I'm super pumped. The channel isn't even a year old yet, and I'm super grateful for the strong feedback and community support. Really appreciate that. If you guys really want to go the extra mile in supporting the channel or messaging me directly, hit me up on Patreon, Arm&Gun there. Again, just a few bucks a month really does go a long way to getting ammo. I'm actually doing a really major construction on the premises here. We're doing an on-site range, and that's getting a little, it's getting interesting, but it should be pretty cool, and it should really allow me to bump up the level of content I can do, especially when it comes to shooting guns and showing you guys that stuff. So again, also feel free to message me directly. If you support me on Patreon, I'm happy to take some questions from you guys. And if you got any specific questions on something in my collection, hit me up, let me know. A couple deals that come across as well, that I come across, I'll throw up to my Patreons and help them out as well. Anyways, thanks a ton, guys. Arm&Gun, out.